Picture it. The year is 2021, and Hasbro has decided to announce they are going to be funding a Haslab Galactus. Now, me being a year younger and a year dumber, happened to stumble upon this news while walking into my office and sitting down at my computer, only to be met with the marvel that was, no pun intended, the galactic scale of Galactus. I knew immediately this figure was something I just wanted to get my hands on, and thus began to think. After conversations with a few friends, a friend of mine and I came to an agreement to obtain Galactus. So like a good little lad, I sat down at Haslab and I put in my information for my address, and thus I began what I like to call the long wait. 1 year later, I waited and I waited, and I watched as holidays came and went, as stress rose and lowered. There were children born in the time that it took for this Galactus to arrive. But alas, the timer was ticking near and I saw it. There it was. Not only one, but 5 Galacti would show up upon my doorstep. The UPS truck outside of my home, and Atlas himself with the weight of the world being 5 Galacti, were carried and deposited very caringly on my porch. I bid adieu to the driver and I drug those Galacti inside, and while Galactus may be the eater of worlds, he is also the devourer of office space. Him and his brother Galacti now reside. So that brings us to today. I have been staring at the mountain of cardboard inside of my office waiting for this moment. As of right now, the filming of this video, I've been off work for 30 minutes. I am loaded with caffeine from an energy drink and a cup of coffee. The wait is over, my friends, and I am ready to finally unveil the Devourer of Worlds. It is time to kneel before Galactus. Alright, dude, it's time. No more putting it off. You got this. You've done plenty of reviews. Just go in there, be yourself. You're a cool dude, man. Don't get in here. You got this. I mean it. It's just another review. Don't even sweat it. Just don't say anything stupid. You got this. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, hey there. Are you ready for your... Oh, hey, daddy. Ah, frick. What is up, guys? You may hear my cats in here. I am currently filming in my living room because Galactus is very, very large. That being said, I'm going to try to do my very best to make this as non-clunky as possible. Hey, Moonpie. I have 4 little figure review helpers in here tonight, and I am very, very excited. I have been waiting for over a year for this project to come in from Haslab, and I am dying to film it. So, let's get started here. Before we get started looking at this magnificent Galactus figure, I would like to say a huge shout out to my good friend Cheshire, who made this review possible, who's letting me take a look here at the Galactus on the channel. So, huge shout outs to Cheshire. I appreciate and love you, man, and I just really appreciate it. So, this review is brought to you by Cheshire. What an absolute daddy. Galactus, not Cheshire, just Galactus is daddy. So I'm actually going to pick my tripod up to show you guys the entire packaging here. So you do have the Galactus logo here, the Haslab's #2, Marvel Legends. Nice box art with Galactus. Honestly, before I talk about this box art any further, I just want to say this box art is absolutely gorgeous. It is a display piece in and of itself. You have Galactus with the big outstretched hand, Nova, Morg, and Silver Surfer, 14 plus Haslabs, all of that. So you do have the side here with continued color and decal. And then on the back, Marvel Legends series Haslab up in the top left, and then just a continuation Marvel logo and all the legal stuff. And for the sake of how large this is, I'm not going to really show the top or the bottom. I probably could have shown the box without him in it, but I wanted to unbox him here with you guys. So aside from slipping up on the top and taking a quick peek just to make sure he was in there, I haven't done a whole lot with this figure. So it's going to be a 4-in-1 review. We're going to review all 3 of the heralds and Galactus all at the same time. Shoutouts to my co-host. This is Honey Bun. Bun Bun is a sweet lad. And Trinket. They're kind of helping me co-host. You may see my other cats. I got 4 of them in here, so... You have a very large plastic hard shell that is protecting everything. And then this comes out, and we will look at all of this here in a minute. And here we have the heralds out of the packaging as well, looking absolutely incredible. I haven't messed around with these a ton. There are a couple of issues. One I want to address right off the bat, which is Nova's neck hinge does not move. I saw a few people online talking about that being an issue for her. It just doesn't move. It's completely stuck. I hit it with some heat to try to loosen it up and it did not budge. And I read a few people online who had their joints snapping at the neck because they could not get it to budge. And I'm not going to do that. But her head is completely stationary. It does not move whatsoever. Looking at it, the Silver Surfer I do believe is mostly reused from the older Walgreens exclusive. So it's nice to have that back in circulation. I do wish that they had updated it with the pinless joints in the elbows and knees to match the other two figures. So it's a little weird that they didn't do that at least, but it does have a different head sculpt from what I saw. And I really do like this stand that he's on, or that his board goes on, and this top here does have some articulation as well. But of the three figures that are not Galactus, Morg right here steals the show. This figure feels buttery smooth. It is one of the best feeling Marvel Legends I have had in my hands to date. I love the sculpt on it, and it stands head and shoulders above these other two. I like Silver Surfer a lot. I do not care for Nova. Just never really have. Don't know a ton about her. When I looked into her, nothing caught my eye to be interested. So she's kind of just here for me, and that neck hinge really does piss me off. But yeah, I'm going to take these guys down and look at them one at a time. We'll probably start with Silver Surfer, go Nova, and then bring it up strong with Morg. So yeah, let's go ahead and pop these heralds off of the stand and in to the hand.
The ancient forces you draw upon mean nothing to one as old as the universe. You are like an amoeba to me. You are not unlike an ant fighting the sun.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this review is taking a long time, so I'm going to be a little lazy now and just actually show you the hands that you get for Silver Surfer and Nova. You get two of like the Spider-Man wall crawling hands, you get two of the karate chop like surfing hands, and then for Nova you get two gripping hands and her actual balled fist hands. For Morg, you get nothing additional. I just don't feel like untaping these and putting these out and about just to put this back in the box afterwards. So yeah, you guys see exactly what you're getting, and that's how I'm taking a shortcut. Now for Silver Surfer, you also do get this Energy edition as well. It is the soft, pliable plastic that we've seen before. This one is in purple, which does match the color that you have here for the board. And like I said, this will kind of move around on a ball there. So that way you can style the board however you'd like. You can have it going more upwards. If you'd like, you can have it going more even. So you do have some options with that. And then you do have the standard Silver Surfer board. And this thing right here, super snug. Once it's in here, it ain't budging. And then you have the Surfer himself. And like I said, I believe most of this is a reuse. I thought it was a new mold to begin with, but after looking at it, I believe most of this is the Walgreens exclusive. You do have a new head sculpt, I believe, compared to the Walgreens one. And I don't see any real marbling in the plastic, which I like a lot. Peg holes on the bottom. Give me 1 second. Cat trying to play in the Galactus box. Look at it. Look at it. Trinket. Stop being a stinky cat. Tink tink. What a stinky. Either way. So you do have the standard mold there. The articulation's really good. It does feel really great, which I'm very happy with. You have the butterfly joints there. You will get a full 360 at the shoulder. 360 at the bicep. Great double jointed elbows. Full 360 at the wrist. Wrists will hinge back that far, forward that far. His head joint works perfectly fine, so you can get him looking way up, way down, full 360. We'll bend that far back, that far forward, full 360 at the waist. Catch him doing the splits. We'll kick forward that far, backwards just a smidge, 360 at the thigh, double joint in the knee, double joint at the calf. Don't believe he can quite kick himself in the butt. It's okay though, it's really good. Foot will go down that far, up that far, and you can do a full 360 to take it around town. So, like I say, figure's good. I mean, it has to come. You have to get a Silver Surfer with Galactus. That's all there is to it. I just do wish that these were pinless, and these were pinless. And other than that, I have no problems with the figure. It's a great figure. I love the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is one of the first Marvel Legends I ever had any sort of experience with. A long time ago, Low Poly Pigeon, whichever name Ryan wants to go by. Ryan and me were at a Walmart, and my dad bought us action figures, and I got a Shawn Michaels figure, and Ryan got a Silver Surfer Toy Biz Marvel Legend. So that was kind of my first exposure to the superposable line of figures that were the Marvel Legends. So I have a very soft spot for Silver Surfer figures. And this metallic paint looks, I mean, look at it. He looks really, really beautiful. Magnificent.
Everything is chrome in the future.
The only problem I do have with this figure is I feel like his knees are a little weak. Trying to pose him around, like especially because the joints are tight, there's a lot of wobble in his knees. So I think that's my only real problem. But I mean, he does slot in easily. Once you get him in, he doesn't want to come off the board, which I like. So then it's just a matter of getting him positioned in a way that you would like. And here at the end, whenever we pose Galactus for the outro shot, I will actually put him in Galactus's hand. So, all right, dude, say cowabunga, and off we go. He fell off the board. That's okay. Now, for Nova, outside of the hands that she has, you do have this flare base, which I believe also goes in Galactus's hand. You can kind of see how his hand can fit into the slots on that on the bottom. This is very well painted. I love the paint application on this. I like this a lot. It's got some heft to it, and it matches really well with the sculpt of her hair. Now, let's go ahead and talk about it because I mentioned it at the start here. Everything on this figure feels really good, except this is as much as her head will move, because that joint right there is stuck so tight that I'm scared I'm going to break it. Like, I'm going to rotate her head sculpt off to show you guys. This right here, it's the angle it's stuck at. This does not move. It has been heated. I have tried to look at it. There's no like excess glue on it. If it were just me, that would be one thing. But when I went online and saw a bunch of people having the same issue for a Haslab exclusive figure that goes with the Galactus, this is unacceptable. So I'm not very happy about that. And I don't know, that's just, it's kind of really unfortunate. Also, she doesn't want to, I didn't notice that. Yeah, she does not want to swivel at all. Like, I'm putting a lot of pressure on that. The Nova figure is a failure. There's two joints here that are just completely inoperable. And she's slightly offset. And even when you move it some, it slides right back into place. Yeah, with these two joints being completely... I haven't seen many people talk about this. I don't know if this is just me, but this I have seen a lot online. Yeah, I'm declaring the Nova a figure failure. Absolutely. Put it on screen. Figure failure. Failure. Which is a shame, because while I don't personally care that much for the character, I was very happy that she was getting a figure. And everything else here, so aside from the busted articulation, full 360... Full 360, beautiful, double jointed arm. She does the splits. This is supposed to be her 360 at the waist, but she does not have it. Full 360 at the thigh, kick up ridiculously high, kick back ridiculously far. Great double jointed foot, can kick herself right in the butt, or double jointed knee, not foot. Foot will go down all the way, up all the way, and full 360. It's just a shame that two of these points of articulation are completely inoperable. Like, obviously her neck articulation would be hindered some by the massive hair sculpt. Trying to be careful popping this head back on so that I don't pop the joint. And yeah, like, the face is very well painted. I like the paint apps on this. I really do. There is some marbling you can see in her chest there. I don't see a little bit on her thigh. Actually, she's got a decent, oh my god, her thigh is actually marbled out of the wazoo. Some on her bicep. Okay, so the paint apps are fine, but there is so much marbling in this figure. Yeah, I stand by what I said with it being a figure failure. I don't like this, which is a shame because I really wanted to like it. I wanted to at least like the figure, but I cannot. When it's like that, it's just impossible to enjoy. So I forgot to do the height scale for the Silver Surfer, so I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to do that with Nova, and we're going to go ahead. Morg doesn't like to stand on his own without some real tooling, so I'm going to try to get him to stand, and we're going to go ahead and do all three of their heights at the same time. He is a very top-heavy lad. I do love this figure, though. And he can stand on his own. You just kind of have to play with him for a little bit. Kind of get his legs positioned. And if he doesn't want to stand on his own... Alright, whatever. We'll do Morg first. So Morg is going to come in... Oh my god, look what's happening. Morg is rubbing off on everyone. It's okay. Everybody just calm down. Everybody just... Okay, whatever. One at a time, one at a time. That's how we're doing this. Morg stands in right at the 7-inch mark. Silver Surfer coming in right at the 6-inch mark. And Nova from the top of her hair comes in at about 6.5 inches. So, that being said, let's get Morg on the floor. Morg. Let's just review him. Here you have my favorite lad from the bunch, Mr. Morg himself. So for the accessories, you do get this double-sided battle axe. There's no real marbling in the plastic there. It's a nice matte gray. Do get a little texture on the grip, two-tone, nice heft to it. I like it. So Morg's head sculpt is great. I love the paint application. I love the red eyes that he has. I love his little skullet in the back here. I really like the sculpt with a little bit of motion to it. The sculpt for the body is great with all of the actual like scaling and horns. The horns do not interfere with his articulation at all, which I think is phenomenal. You do get a little weirdness whenever you do, and it's just the way it has to be. You do get a little weirdness when it's suddenly smooth compared to it, but it does not look that bad in like photos or anything like that. All of this on his arm is super soft plastic, so it doesn't interfere with the articulation at all. A little marbling on that, not so much on that one. And then yeah, you have the nice cocky smirk. He looks like a real cocky prick, which I think is great. And then you do have the little nodules on his neck as well. Then you do have the soft plastic belt that goes all the way around. You get a little additional sculpting on the side here. You can see the sculpt for these looks really well. Nice metallic silver. And he has like a ball joint that he is on. So all of his articulation is done through that ball. It is not really affected. He doesn't go forward very far. He can go back significantly more. So he can like poke out his chest, you know, like square up to somebody. But he doesn't go down very far, which is okay. It is what it is. And then for the head, you can technically get full 360. I'm going to try to do it here. It's really hard to do without popping it off. Now you'll see he doesn't have the hinge. He kind of is just on the freestanding ball. But this head sculpt is phenomenal. Again, just great wash put on top of the actual figure itself to give some dimension. Sorry if you guys hear some noise in the background. My cat's having a fit at this cage, so I'm actually going to address that and we'll be right back. Cats are having fun with me filming in here. Normally I film in my office. But yeah, so you can technically go full 360. It's going to be really difficult to do with this hair, but I really do like the hair and the way that it's put on. I like the way that it's sculpted, that it gives it a little bit of depth, so it's not just a straight cut off between the red skin and the hair itself. For the actual articulation, like I said, you're not going to get any hindrance from that. It will go that far up. Kind of have to move his hair out of the way, but you will get a full 360. Beautiful double jointed elbows. He can call his mom, put a phone right up to his ear. You'll get a full 360 even within that little plastic. Like I said, this here is going to be super pliable. Hand will go back that far. Hand will go down that far with the full 360. I showed you off earlier, but you do get a full 360 at the waist here. He can do the splits. Full 360 at the thigh. Kick up that far. Kick back a little bit. He's got some beefy thighs. Will not kick his butt. Don't even come close to it. I don't recognize this mold. Somebody in the comments maybe can tell me what mold this is used or if this is an all new mold, but this figure feels incredible. You do get, these are a little firmer plastic than what's on his arms, but you do get the swooping metallic, then the actual spikes, and then his foot will go down that far, up that far, and full 360. You don't really get a ton of upwards movement just because of the spike there bumping into it. And then you do have some sculpting here with his metallic thong that actually isn't a thong, but he just got a little cheek meat hanging off the side. So yeah, I think it's no contest. This isn't like a flawless figure just because there are some issues getting him to stand, and now they're completely solved. I don't know. I don't know that I would call him a flawless figure, but I will say this. He is my favorite Marvel Legend figure that I have reviewed in a long time. Maybe since the movie Venom figure, and I think I like him more than the movie Venom figure. So yeah, this boy's great. Seal of approval. Stamp it right like up here with like a heart. And Morg, maybe you'll call me after this review or something. I just want to double down on this because I've been sitting here messing around with this figure for a minute. And maybe it's just me. And maybe it's a personal preference, but this may be one of my favorite, like, standard scale Marvel Legend figures ever. I can't stop, like, fiddling around and posing this guy. I adore this figure. I just want to put that out there. This is, like, my favorite Marvel Legend that I've reviewed to date. Hands down. Just want to throw that out there. I'm loving this boy. This boy lit. Phenomenal. I think the only two things that I need out of this are going to be Galactus's 2 ears, and they are very, very secure in there. We'll take a closer look at them here in just a minute. Now comes the piece de resistance. I keep bumping my camera, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not used to filming reviews on such a large scale. So I've been debating on how I was going to film this boy since he came in. And all of these individual pieces I'll show off here. You have the nice Doom head sculpt. And we'll look at them closer here in a minute. Right now, this is kind of just stage one, the unboxing. And then you do have the two faceplate swaps, which are Skull and Grumpy Galactus. Grumpy Lactus, if you will. Grumpy lactating Galactus. That is a cursed thought. So then you do take off these two pieces. Oh, I'm so excited. It's moment of truth time. What's this? Oh God, he's heavy. Okay, it's okay. Oh, sweet God almighty. Look at this lad. Look at the girth of this boy. Can you give everybody a thumbs up, Galactus? Alright, now before we switch camera shots here, can you knuckle bump me? Alright, I'm going to get everything set up and we'll actually take a look at our boy Galactus here. So yeah, my early thoughts with my new son is just off, looking at him, just an overview from the time that I took him out of the box. I'm very, very excited to see more about like the articulation and everything like that. But I think he was a little cold after having a nice long travel to get here. So I went ahead and wrapped him up. So once he warms up, we'll go ahead and take a closer look at the articulation. And yeah, we'll just, we'll see what the little scamper wants to get into, so. Alright guys, so all of my shenanigans and jokes aside, it is now time to actually talk about the Galactus figure. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this, because my God, is it a ridiculous beast that I have to legitimately move my tripod to even get a look at him. So let's start off talking about the head, and we can figure it all out from there. I did attach the wings to the side of the head, and this sculpt is magnificent. I can't think of anything bad to say about this. You have the nice multicolor, you have the nice gray here, metallic purple here. I will show him lighting up. I know these light up and his eyes light up, I believe. The actual sculpting on the faceplate is phenomenal. You have all the intricate line work and sculpt work. You have the button on the back here. Like I say, we'll take a look at that when I put batteries in it in just a minute. You have all this nice little sculpt work on top, and it's very intricate and multi-layered and three-dimensional. You have all of the additional add-ins here, and then you can see inside of the head here. And this is actually how you take the faceplate out, is you reach in and I believe you push on this, and then it just pops right out. That way you can stick in, and I'll show them off here as well, whichever other Galactus faceplate you would like. I believe that they slide in, let's see here. Yeah, they just tuck right on in there, and then you can kind of, there we go. You just have to kind of put it in and push it into place. And then you do have Angry Galactus, who is a grumpy boy. I really do love like the sculpting and the coloration and paintwork on the teeth. See a little bit of the pink of the gums in there. I hope my camera's picking that up, but if not, I promise you it's there. Just really good. The nice skin detail and wrinkling, and there's like a nice texture and depth to the color of the skin. Then you also do have like the, I didn't notice this, you have the blue accents here as well, which is just really, really cool. And then let me pop this one out here. Bada boom! Beautiful. Again, excellent wash work and paint work on the teeth. Really creates that depth. All of the skull painting and depth and everything like that. The wash. Just, I can't ask for anything better. And then while we're here, I would also like to show off the Dr. Doom head from, I forgot which Earth it is. I had my good friend Low Poly Pig give me a quick refresher on the Galactus Dr. Doom. So shout outs to Low Poly Pig. I'm just saying, does that plug into that? Oh no, it's like a bracer, okay. But shout out to Low Poly Pig for refreshing my memory. This does have a nice texture work on it. I like the sculpt here with the hood hooking over and the seam down the middle. And then you do have right on way up in there, you have all of the rivets on the metallic paint, and then what bit of the eyes you see. Just really freaking cool. That is really cool. And even if you don't use this head on your Galactus, this would look really cool just displayed on a desk. You might have to get like an actual like display little pad to put it on. It wouldn't be hard to 3D print, or however you'd want to do it. But this is actually just really cool. Wow, it's just it's gorgeous, and we'll take a look at it with we'll take a look at Galactus with that on as well. So that's just a quick look at the head of Galactus. I'm gonna pop some batteries in this boy, and I guess we'll do our best to take a look at the whole figure. So let's do it. Also, real quick, if you were wondering how you actually get the batteries into the head, you just pinch this here, or down here rather, and this actually just slides right off and opens way for you to put your batteries in. So yeah, I forgot to show that off. That's it. That's how you get inside the old brain of Galactus. I'm gonna try to start low and work my way up. So you can see here, starting with Galactus's feet, you do have some really nice, and he's hefty. He is very hefty, and you have the nice metallic paintwork. So you have the nice ridging here, and then I'm gonna lift him up so we can take a look at the bottom of his feet. It's fine, I'll take that up. I knocked a couple things off, but it's a-okay. Looking at his feet, you do have the nice pattern here as well for the bottom of the foot. You do have a little bit of give in this top part here, which allows for movement with him. Honestly, it might be best for me to review him with him laying down, so this way I can actually talk about things and not have to worry about him being top heavy. So moving on to the knee. Now I know coming out of the Sentinel Haslab backing, a lot of people were concerned about the knees. I believe, now I don't own a Sentinel, but I believe the Sentinel had loose knee joints. I can tell you this is not the case with Galactus. It does take a bit of force to get his knees to bend, and they will hold their shape incredibly well. Like, I have not had an issue yet where his knee feels even remotely wobbly. And while we're talking about it, let's stand him up. And that's about as far as his knee will bend. So you do get some decent knee bending articulation out of it, which is really impressive for a figure of this size. He has a lot more range of movement than I thought he would. And like I say, I'm going to show you guys, it is ratcheted. So it does not move without some substantial force application. So that way, you know, trying to bend it back just a little bit. And he's very sturdy. I have to get his other leg matched up. You do have to kind of make sure that when you're trying to stand him up, that his legs are matching in their angling. Otherwise, you do have an issue where he wants to wobble. But once you get the legs even, like, I'll pull it back where you guys can see, he is standing just freeform and is perfectly fine. I'm very impressed with how well he actually stands up on his own. But that being said, now we come up to his galactic codpiece. Now you do have some give here, like you can upskirt Galactus if you want. There is a lack of that secondary color on the upper thigh cut, but this does move around pretty freely, so you're able to kind of put it in whatever positions that you would like for it to be in. It goes back and forth perfectly fine. You do have wonderful, and like I said, it's a soft plastic. All of this right here is super soft and super malleable. Same thing with the straps up. I know it's a little higher than you guys can see right now. It's as high as my camera goes, but the same thing with the straps on the abdomen. We'll raise up the tripod here in a minute. But you do have all of this nice accent and sculpt work, and it is just magnificent. And it goes all the way around. Then you have the similar thing with his butt flap that kind of pulls out. You can kind of see the whole thing wiggling. His big galactic skirt. You know, he's got to make sure it's stretchy. When you eat as many worlds, do you have any idea how many calories are in a world or a galaxy? When Galactus be eating, he got to have his stretchy pants on. It's Thanksgiving year-round for this boy. Or what if I told you Galactus had that dog in him, and he just had to keep him stretchy pants on? And yeah, it's just all the way around an incredible setup. I can't say enough about it. Now, I haven't tried, I don't believe he has a waist cut. I think it's all in the diaphragm. So yeah, I believe he is just on the ball joints and the diaphragm. Let me get these back under here. Like I say, this is all super pliable. I don't have any concern with doing this. It all just moves so freely. It's beautiful. As we start to get more to the top of my backdrop, you can see here as well, you do have a nice texturing. It's like an octagonal, it's an octagon or a hexagon? Hexagon. It's a hexagonal pattern on all of like the chest piece, the stomach piece, the biceps and things like that. And then you do have the diaphragm joint up here that swivels back and forth. I'm not going to push on it too hard just because I don't really want to move him like that. And I am at a weird angle right now. Let me get his arms up. Again, hinge there. You can see kind of where all of this plugs in to his chest here. So it's not going to be moving anywhere. There you do see where he actually has his abdomen crunch. And let's see how far that abdomen crunch will take us. So yeah, he will crunch that far forward. That's a lot more than I thought he would be able to. That's actually really impressive. And then how far back does it go? He's a little off balance now because I haven't fixed his legs, but you can push him that far back. That's crazy, dude. He has this right here gives me a lot more motion than I ever thought it would. Try to reestablish his positioning. There we go. Like I say, and he stands really, really well. For the articulation here, like I say, you can, his arms are ratcheted. So once you put them in place, they're not going to go anywhere. You can put your fingers in them though, so his arm will go out that far. So you do get a full 360 in the arms. And you have full 360 in the bicep. But you can take his arm about that far and it'll bend that far. All right, scoot over, Galactus. You do have full 360. And the hands are something that I want to talk about a little bit more in depth. So let's go ahead and lay him back down. So with his arm, not only do you have magnificent sculpting again with the texturing and things like that, you do continue to have the seam of this actually being here. You do have some wrinkling in the actual elbow. Oh God, don't backhand the people at home. And that continues down through here. Then on here, you do have more sculpt work, the actual lines with the purple accents, more blue there. And this is leading to what I wanted to talk about, which are these incredibly articulated hands. I can't remember how many points of articulation the hands have, but like you can do a full 360 on the thumb. You have the actual joint down here, and then another joint up here, so you can kind of bend his thumb and maneuver it however you would like to. And then for the fingers, each one of them rotate at the base for a full 360. I'm not going to turn them all the way around just because they all do a full 360. You have 1 point of articulation, 2 point of articulation, 3 point of articulation. So each one of his fingers, I mean, you can make his hand look cursed. Look at that. Galactus had a rough day at the office. Looks like SpongeBob when he broke his fingers all to pieces. But yeah, this is really cool. Especially whenever I start posing him around with some of the other heralds and other figures. And it's like, it's not just the sculpt. Like you have like their individual divots on the finger. You have all of this excellent sculpt and paint work. It's like just legitimately their sculpt work on top of the fingers, like no expense spared. It really shows why this Haslab exclusive was as expensive as it is, because they did not spare any expense. You have things like nodules here that are protruding off, and then let me pull them up here. Thank you guys for bearing with me, as this is proving to be a beast to review, but I knew it would be, and it's okay. Because here's what I wanted to get to next. Let me Alright, which is the back plate here. Because again, you have all of the accents with the silver here, the black on the straps here, black here. You have the actual reactor. It kind of looks like an arc reactor. I can't think of what the actual terminology is here. Let me raise you up a little bit more. I'll raise you up. Okay. And then here's where you actually get to put the batteries into the back of Galactus. This piece right here actually just slots out and gives you access. 2 AAA batteries in the back, 2 AAA batteries in the head, and then I believe this is the button to turn them on, or is it? Where is the button to turn this on? I'll find it in a minute. I don't remember. I know it exists, but I'll find it in a minute. But yeah, then you continue to have just more like textured accents there with the dark. You have the nice metallic here as well. Do I turn it up front? Aha, I do! So that way, when you turn that on, you get a nice glow. It's his chest that does it, not the back. And then you just slot these in, slide them in. It is completely seamless whenever you do that. So, that being said, I do want to take a last minute look here at the back of the head with the lights. Again, just magnificent detailing. So yeah, let me set my camera back and let's rotate old Galactus around with all of his bells and whistles, and by those I mean his lights. And it looks so good. You have the wonderful detail in the eyes. The two there, they actually shine through the tunnels there. Then you have the reactor in the chest. And it just looks so freaking good. I wonder how it looks with all the lights off. All right, hold on. Well, that's intimidating. That's my sleep paralysis demon. He'd probably say something nice like,
"Kneel before Galactus."
Oh, you blinking, it's a rave.
Before Galactus.
And then since we've been talking about it and I haven't done it yet, let's put the Doom head on. So let me move him here and go ahead and... I'm a little skeptical every time I take his head off. I don't know why. Like, it just pops off, but you have to like get it just right to pop off. I'm gonna actually go do this off camera. And there you have it with the Doom head on. I'll try to get where you can see a little bit more of the body. I like it. I don't think I like it as much as the Galactus head. Like, it's really cool that they included the Doom head, but I don't know, it just... I don't like that there's no LED in the Doom head compared to the Galactus head. I don't think I would ever really display it with this. I think it would almost always be the traditional Galactus head. Also, guys, bear with me because I forgot to show you this. With his foot, he actually does have the foot articulation that will go that far down and then that far up. So this piece right here will work with you. So that way, it's like I say, his joints are very, very tight. I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand. But yeah, so that gives you an idea of the actual range of motion on his feet. I think this one will probably... Now I'm going to pop his knee. There we go. Like I said, they are very tight. And then this just slides up and down to match whatever you're doing with him. So, just wanted to show that. I'm sorry it's a little shaky. I almost forgot to film that. And now, let's do a little scaling. So, from foot to tip, you are looking at Galactus coming in at just... We're good. But just a hair over with a little tippy smidge. There's like these little nodules on the ears. They're just a smidge over 32 inches. He large. He ain't about that small scale life. He about that big boy life. But as some last minute thoughts with Galactus, I love this figure. I think it is 100% a delivery on everything that was promised from the Haslab campaign. I can't say anything bad about it. I have a personal love for Galactus. He's always been one of my absolute favorite Marvel villains. From way back watching him in the animated Fantastic Four cartoon, through video games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. I just really like Galactus. There's something, like, I'm a sucker for like Titanic-sized villains. Not villains, but characters in general. And considering this is my actual hand on Galactus, this figure is 100% everything I wanted it to be. Now, normally this is where I'd say, oh, you know, I don't rate figures on a scale of 1 to 10. I feel like I have to on this one because I can't just recommend people buy this because the campaign is closed. So at this point, you're dealing with secondary market prices. So this isn't something that I'm able to just like tell you like, hey, I would recommend this. I wouldn't recommend this. So I'm going to give this a flawless figure. This is 100% everything I wanted it to be. That's it. It's a flawless figure. Go ahead and throw up a flawless figure. So yeah, guys, in closing, this figure is an absolute beast. As a package, I'm really, really upset about the Nova. The Nova having 2 points of articulation that just don't work from the manufacturer is really inexcusable. I really hope that other people don't have that problem. It's a real shame that it is that way, and I hope it's something that doesn't affect everyone. It's a real shame. I don't wish that on anybody. Morg is phenomenal. Galactus is absolutely phenomenal. I cannot express. This right here is a centerpiece figure. This is one thing you put in your collection and you build around it. Homeboy brought me out of my goddamn office so I could even film a review for him. I had to like structure my house to like film a review for him. And like you can see there, my cats are tired because I've been taking up the whole room and they're just all crammed up on a blanket. So yeah, guys, in closing, this figure is immaculate. As a package, it is phenomenal. The Silver Surfer and Nova, I wish were better. Surfer is passable. Nova is not. Morg is great. I love you, Morg. Don't you ever stop being you, you beautiful bastard. But I mean, normally this is where I say I'd like to make sure I can help with your purchase making process. The secondary market's volatile. I see a lot of these selling from between $600 to $750. The individual figures are selling for $100. Galactus himself I've seen sell for $500-600. It's really difficult. Now, where the Sentinels were a army builder, where people were buying multiple Sentinels, I don't think a lot of people bought more than one Galactus for their collection. So you may be able to find some that people bought excess of that they're selling off. But yeah, this right here, like just him standing with full, like regular scale Marvel Legends in his hands is a beautiful sight. I can't say anything else about him. Galactus is a flawless figure. Morg is, I said he wasn't flawless. So let's put an asterisk. He's not a flawless figure, but he's flawless to me. To me, he is a perfect 6-inch scale Marvel Legend. So do with that what you will. Silver Surfer is a Silver Surfer. Nova's busted, marbled to all sin. Not a big fan. Those are my thoughts. I'm so happy to finally have Galactus reviewed. He's great. He's thick. My God. But as always, guys, you know, more than anything, I just want to give you guys some input. And realistically, if I'm being honest, I have a ton of fun collecting action figures. And I'm very happy I have the opportunity to share that with you guys in some capacity. Don't you turn your lights out on me, Galactus. I swear to God, I'm just now getting ready to say goodbye. What a diva. Either way, the Devourer of Worlds and the Devourer of Office Space has been reviewed. I'm very thrilled. I hope you guys enjoyed the review as well. I love you guys to the moon and back. Don't you ever forget your dreams. Yes, your dreams deserve to come true. And Uncle Triforce will always be here rooting for you. But until we meet up on the tracks for our next crazy, wacky, wild, and smaller scale figure review, as always, the pleasure has been all mine. And until then, this caboose is loose and leaving the station. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. And you, be good people, my friends.
I am not without mercy. You may serve as my herald.